Hey, Omnibus Collectors, it's Riley, and I'm doing a little bit of a haul video here. I know it's been a little while since I've done one um, officially, but I just got my first package of December, and I wanted to do a quick haul video. A couple of things before I get started. One, you'll notice that the quality on this video is not exactly... Chewy, calm down. Is not exactly up to par with what I've been doing. After moving, I cannot find my charger for my camera, so I'm just using my laptop like back in the old days when I started doing the videos. Second, in the words of Beyonce, I woke up like this. I just threw on my wife's bathrobe because I did not feel like getting dressed today. I'm working on some school stuff, and Chewy, my dog is like laying on top of my computer. Um, yeah, so I'm a bit of a mess, but I really don't care. I'm just here to talk about. I think I have beans in my beard. I made breakfast tacos for for myself when I woke up. Anyway, so I've got a few things to talk about my early acquisitions for December of 2015. So let's just go ahead and get started. So the first few things that I grabbed, uh, some manga, One Punch Man volumes 1, 2, and 3. So I've been, like a lot of people, I've been watching the One Punch Man anime, and I can't get enough of it. So I went ahead and bought the 3 volumes of manga. I took advantage of a sale that was happening at the bookstore connected to the place where I work. Um, so I was able to, through some finagling, basically get all 3 of those volumes for about $13. So yeah. And I read them all pretty much in one sitting. I like sat in bed and finished volume 1 before I went to sleep one night, and then I finished volume 2 um, when I woke up the next day, and then I got volume 3 and finished that in one sitting as well because it's just such a good quick read. I love the series. If you don't know about One Punch Man at all, basically you get this character Saitama who is a normal human who trained himself to be extremely strong, and somehow he became like he got like godlike powers, and he goes out and he's a superhero who fights against monsters and criminals and stuff in his city, and he says he's a hero for fun, is what he says. And it's called One Punch Man because he defeats everything, every monster and every villain in a single punch. So he's extremely strong. And so the series is just it's kind of a play, kind of a parody of a lot of like superhero comics and shonen manga and stuff. Um, but it's really clever and it's really fun. I really love it. And the artist on the my dog just keeps sneezing. Um, the artist on here, Yusuke Murata, he was the artist on the series I Shield 21, which is another one of my favorite manga series of all time. And that one's actually about football, and I really don't care about football or any sports, so that goes to show how good that series was. But it was also kind of a slapstick humor type series. This one, good sense of humor and a lot of really cool action, really relatable and cool characters, I guess. And if you haven't checked it out yet, check out the anime. You can find it on various websites. Watch a couple episodes. If you dig it, then cool. If you don't, sorry. Anyway, moving on into my actual in-stock order from the beginning of the month. I got a couple of paperbacks. First one I got here is this Wolverine Epic Collection, The Dying Game. This is the 8th Epic Collection. So we have the first Epic Collection came out several months ago, and then those of y'all who don't know what the Epic Collections are, basically they're these nice thick paperbacks that collect things chronologically, but they're not released in order. It says on the bottom, the Epic Collections feature the best characters and stories from Marvel's vast history. Volumes are not published in chronological order, so start your collection today with this edition and look inside for a complete list of available and upcoming releases. So yeah, there's volume 1 of Wolverine is already available, and then this is volume 8. This skips ahead and publishes a lot of material from later on in Larry Hama's run on the character. So this has issues 87 through 100, annual 1995, and Wolverine Night of Terra, the one-shot. So there's a lot of good material in here, a lot of good artists in here as well. You get one of the Kuberts, so J.H. Williams III. I don't know he was digging material in here. Well, so obviously there's some good, J.H. Williams III, Adam Kubert, Fabio Laguna, Duncan Rouleau. A bunch of really great artists are in here doing some cool work on the book. I grabbed this because, as you guys mostly know, I grab like every X-Men book out there. I want to have a full collection of all the X-Men and like spin-off series and stuff, but also because I really love what I've read of Larry Hama's run on Wolverine, so I really want to have that entirely collected at one point, and this chunk is going to help me get there. Moving on to the next book, Swamp Thing, Darker Genesis. This is the second of 3 volumes of Mark Millar's run on the Swamp Thing. Back cover, spine. So I got the first volume not terribly long ago. This one collects, let's see, issues 151 to 160. And the entire run should be wrapping up with a 3rd volume that's already been solicited. Should come out sometime in the spring of next year. So basically, I love Swamp Thing. He's one of my favorite characters, and I grabbed this volume. I'm really excited about having this run because Mark Millar actually originated a lot of the ideas that wind up coming out in the future of the Swamp Thing stories, such as the different parliaments and stuff. We already have the gray, and we already have the green and the red. And if you read Animal Man by Lemire, then there was the rot, and later on in Swamp Thing, Charles Soule used the gray, which was like the fungus kingdom, and those ideas kind of came from Mark Millar's run. He was the one that had the Parliament of Stones, of Flames, of Jets, I think it was, or Vapors, I don't remember, but he does like different kingdoms for all the different elements. So it's not just plant life and animal life, but also like water, air, fire, the different elements essentially get their own kingdoms. And so I've been really interested in finally being able to read that run. It was a run that I've wanted to read for a long time, like ever since I discovered those concepts years ago. I've wanted to read this run, so I'm really excited that DC finally is publishing these across a few paperback editions. So really excited to get around to reading these. Like I said, I absolutely love the character of Swamp Thing. So one of my long-term goals in comics was to own every Swamp Thing collection and story that I possibly could. So DC's really helping me out with that here. Anyway, moving to the next collection, I've got a few oversized hardcovers next. The first one is Chew, the Omnivore Edition Volume 5. This is the 5th and penultimate of the Omnivore editions of Chew. This collects issues 41 through 50, as well as the Warrior Chicken Pollo one-shot. So, a lot of cool material in here. This is a series that I absolutely love. I've been reading it pretty much since it started coming out in singles. I think the first issue that I read, I started reading it when like issue 3 had been published. So I've been reading this for quite a few years, and it should be wrapping up sometime like next year. So we're almost there. We're almost to the end. It's a really, if you haven't read it, Chew is a really fun, funny book with really lighthearted artwork, really fun cartoony artwork. It's got a great, interesting story with a lot of cool concepts. The idea is basically this world in which a lot of people have these weird superpowers that are very food-oriented, and the main character is Tony Chew, who is an agent for the FDA, who every time he eats something, he can see the past of that item. So, like, for instance, if he eats an apple, he can see the orchard where it was grown, if there was any pesticides used on it, how it was cleaned and stuff like that. If he eats a hamburger, he can see where that cow, how it was fed, how it lived, how it even when it was slaughtered and stuff like that. So then there's a lot of other characters. There's characters who can do a lot of different things relating to food, make food into weapons, write about food, stuff like that. So it's a really cool, really interesting series, and I've really loved it since the very beginning. These Omnivore editions are nice 10-issue hardcovers, and just as with all of Image's deluxe hardcover editions, it's a really well put together volume, good binding, and all that good stuff. There are 20-issue volumes that have been released called the Smorgasbord editions, and I have nothing against those at all. They are a little more pricey. I think it's $100 for 20 issues instead of like 35 for 10. I think that's the price point, but I'm sticking with the Omnivore editions because my first Omnivore edition was a gift that was given to me, and it is signed and sketched in by artist Rob Guillory, so I'm hanging on to my Omnivore editions and just going forth this way. The next oversized hardcover I've got is the third of Bendis' all-new X-Men. This collects issues 22 through 30 of all-new X-Men, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy 11 through 13, because this contains the Trial of Jean Grey storyline. That storyline, the Trial of Jean Grey, is also going to be collected in, I believe, the second of the Guardians of the Galaxy oversized hardcovers that's already been solicited. So if you're collecting both of those runs, you're going to get a little bit of double dipping. Not terribly, it's just going to be a few issues that are present in both volumes. So yeah, I really enjoyed Bendis' run overall on All New X-Men and on Uncanny X-Men. He had some really cool ideas. I know that he didn't really have a solid villain for his run. It was more of a character piece, following all the heroes and introducing new characters, looking at these heroes through different perspectives and how they dealt with certain tragedies that happened to the X-Men. And it really delivered a really interesting series, and I really enjoyed his run overall. It came to an end recently, and I thought that it was a pretty good ending for a pretty good run, and I'm excited to have it all in these oversized hardcovers. I know there's been a lot of talk about whether or not there's going to be an omnibus edition of this and of Uncanny X-Men in the future. I think that there's still a possibility that that happens, but just in case it doesn't happen, I'm happy to have these oversized hardcovers because I like to look at the artwork from Stuart Immonen and Sarah Pichelli and David Marquez on these oversized pages. And I just want to give a look at what's underneath the dust jacket real quick. Kitty and Magic, and of course there's a good amount of bonus material in the back of this volume, like sketches and variant cover gallery and stuff like that. So Marvel does a really good job on their oversized hardcovers. They always have, and I feel like they always will. Anyway, moving on, I got one more oversized hardcover. I actually haven't even unwrapped this one yet. This is DMZ, the 5th and final deluxe edition from Brian Wood and Riccardo Bercelli. I have not started reading the series yet. I was waiting until I had the entire series so I could go through it at my own pace. I know I say that a lot. There's a lot of series that I've done this for. I like to buy the entire thing and then go through it at my own pace because I hate when I buy the first volume and then I absolutely love that first volume and then I'm sitting there in just huge anticipation for the next volume and then it's just a big pain. So if I can hold out, then I will. Sometimes I can't hold out. Like whenever I was reading Runaways, I had to read that right away. She-Hulk, I read that right away, I believe. But with DMZ, I held out, and so now I'm going to be treated to the entire 72-issue run, basically at my own pace. And I've heard nothing but positivity about DMZ in the past. So, and I've enjoyed the vast majority of what I've read from Brian Wood. So I'm absolutely sure I'm going to dig this, and I am just happy to have, because I'm happy to have these deluxe edition volumes, because Vertigo's deluxe editions are beautiful books. They always are, and they always look great on the shelf. I think that Vertigo's deluxe editions are some of the best looking books that DC as a company publishes. Anyway, moving on, one more Vertigo book, and this is all I've got for this haul, and that is the iZombie Omnibus, collecting the entire 28-issue run by Chris Robertson with artwork by the great Mike Allred. Mike Allred's artwork is actually the #1 reason why I picked this series up in the first place. Back when the first issue popped up, I saw that cover and I was like, wow, that's beautiful. I love Mike Allred. You know, I was already familiar with his work from other things at the time, and you know, he's gained a lot of notoriety through his career in comics. Most recently, aside from iZombie, he also did with Matt Fraction, he did FF over at Marvel, and then right now he's still doing Silver Surfer with Dan Slott over at Marvel. And of course, he's really well known for his Madman books and a lot of other stuff. But anyway, iZombie was a book that I read from the first issue all the way to the last issue when it was originally being published. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great, charming little series that had a really interesting take on all these, you know, monster-type characters, different ghouls and monsters, and did a really cool thing with those types of characters. So I really dug the book, and I never bought it in like the paperback collections, and they were originally going to put out a couple of paperbacks collecting the entire series. But with the success of that first season of the show on CW, it looks like they scrapped those and decided to put it out as an omnibus instead, which I'm really happy about because this is a very beautiful looking omnibus edition. And it's only a $75, yeah, $75 is the cover price, so you can still get it for probably less than $40 online if you look in the right places. But either way, it's really well worth it. It's a beautiful looking volume, great looking book. Look great on your shelf. I really love having Allred artwork on the cover. Fantastic stuff. I don't know what Chewie's looking at. Anyway, I'll be doing a video about this one very soon. As soon as I can get my camera charger and have all that set up so I can do high quality, I want to do a video talking about this because of how much I love this series. And also, I do love that CW show. I went ahead and watched that somewhat recently. And I really dug it, and I want to talk about both the series and the comic, and the differences, the similarities, and the great afterword that writer Chris Robertson wrote in the back of this book. Anyway, so that's all I've got for this haul. This is my first haul of December. We'll see what happens for the rest of the year. Hopefully I'll have a few more videos out before the end of the year. See what else comes out. I don't know. It's a pretty light month for me this December, which is good because I've needed to recover from the past couple months. October and November were pretty big for me. A lot of big releases that I grabbed. But anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry that this is not in high quality. Sorry I'm in my wife's bathrobe, and sorry my hair is a mess. But, you know, whatever. We're here to talk about comics, not talk about purple bathrobes and stuff like that. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for spending time with me. Thanks for spending your time watching me talk about books and stuff. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, whatever. Share the video, show your friends, show your enemies, show your mom. I don't know, whoever's going to enjoy it. And I've got links down below to various places where you can find me, my website, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my Twitter, stuff like that. So anyway, again, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.